Hey Stitches, welcome back to my channel. I'm Matthew, aka Fairy Godfather. This is my YouTube channel, Fairy Godfather Knits. And this video is about Clue 2 of the Stephen Westknits Mystery MusiKAL. It is the 2025 Mystery Knit Along, and this is all about Clue 2. I do it kind of vlog style, so you'll just see me going through the process of the clue. I didn't think there was a lot to say about this one, but when I was just loading up all the footage that I filmed through the week, it was like a bit longer than I thought. I had some mistakes that I had to fix, so there's some sort of like detailed stuff about that. But anyway, I'm just gonna let us get straight into it. So to be clear, there are spoilers. If you stay to the end, you will see the completed Clue 2. And this is how it went for me this week. Can't wait to hear about how it went for you. Please let me know in the comments if you are doing the MKAL as well, how your Clue 2 was. And join me on my journey through Clue 2. Here we go. Hey everybody, it's Thursday morning and I'm just about to get into Clue 2. I have it printed out right here. I did wake up about 4 a.m., about 20 after 4. And in my like bleary-eyed sleep, I went online to check, but I hadn't gotten the email yet about the pattern update. So I went back to bed, got up a little after 8. It's just a little after 9 now, and I'm ready to get started. I have read through the clue. I don't know how I feel. It's gonna be a lot of garter and some eyelets, and it looks like we're gonna be kind of making wedges and kind of like building it with like some short rows and stuff. I don't have a clue what to do about the colors. He is suggesting using color C for the eyelets every time and then like alternating the other colors in any kind of order. There's a couple suggested ones, but people are free to do whatever. And you can substitute, of course, mohair in there anywhere you want as well. So it's pretty like open in a way in terms of what to do with the color. It's obviously intended to look quite stripy. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm gonna have to have a look and a think. And kind of like, what I'm trying to say is this is a case where I would very much like to see it. I would very much like to see what a squiggle looks like. I would very much like to see what the finished clue looks like. And that would really help me with color placement. I don't know, but I just feel like I've been doing it without looking, and how can you hear a note that is yet to be played? And I just don't want to peek. I just don't want to peek this time. So I'm gonna think about it and maybe even like sketch some stuff out to try to figure out how I want to do the colors. But that said, it's probably gonna change during it anyway, and I'm probably gonna change my mind as I go. So maybe I should just start. But anyway, I'm gonna jump in any minute, and I'll let you know as soon as I've made some progress worth showing. Yeah, I'm going later today to see my friend Amy Jones interview Mona Awad, the author of Bunny, and now the sequel, I Love You, Bunny? Or We Love You Too, Bunny? Or something. Anyway, so that's in Hamilton, so it's a bit of a trek, but I'll have time to knit on the GO train or on the bus, so that seems worth it as well. And yeah, anyway, this is going to be most of my day, and I'm really looking forward to it. Talk to you later. Bye. I am going to say too that like, even though this part kind of looks easy because you think like, oh, it's just garter. And it is in a lot of ways, like it would be forgiving of mistakes and stuff. I know from the woven chevrons and other ones, like there is also going to be a lot of counting. Like there's specific places where you have to do like decreases and increases. And there's like markers in this section where you like place markers and remove markers on each row. So I think it's going to lull us into like a false sense of safety and security, thinking like, oh, it's just garter, but it'll be actually kind of easy to mix things up too. I think I'm going to have to be really careful about the counting. Okay, so I think just because I have to start and I have to pick something, I think I'm actually going to start with color B, which is not as instructed. You're instructed to start with color A. But because I have color A, which was purple, stitches here, I was using the green in the color A position here. So green and then red. It's like, it's the only color of the 4 that isn't like used there. And I want it to be like a nice border. I also think it will kind of like emulate the welts. And so I want that to be like the first strip. And then we can figure out color from there. The other thing is that he had said that color C would have a solo at some point later in the shawl. And in this clue, you're encouraged to use color C for the eyelets every single time. But I'm just kind of like, is that the solo? I don't think so. Like, I find the color you choose in an eyelet row almost gets lost a little bit because like you're so focused on the geometry and the negative space of the eyelet that you're not, in a way, almost not like seeing the color, especially if it's between 2 garter rows. I mean, I'll have to see what the first one looks like to be sure, but so I'm really hoping that this isn't the color C solo. And when you look at the clue, very helpfully gives the number of grams of yarn used in each color for each clue. And color C actually has by far the lowest usage in this clue. I'm just really hoping that this isn't the solo because my color C is the red. And I don't know if I want the red to be my eyelets. I don't know. I'll just have to see. All right, here we go. I'm gonna jump in now. Okay, it's a couple hours later and I've done the first squiggle. So I kind of get it now. Like they'll be essentially stripes, but like in this squiggly shape where they're thicker at this end and thinner at this end. There's going to be 9 of them. So if I keep using gray on the odd numbers, that'll be like 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. So that's 5 stripes of gray. And then I think I'm going to alternate the green and the purple as the like squiggles. So then that would leave the red, which is color C, to be the eyelet rows, which is what he suggests. Oh, I also wanted to say, like, it says to take the markers out when you turn, but I left mine in and used multiple because it's just easy to count. There's something a little idiosyncratic where they alternate between 27 stitches and 24 stitches on these I guess, short rows. So it's just helpful to have them there so that I can count. It helps me keep track. And even if they're in the way as I do whatever I'm about to do on this next row, I would rather that for like the certainty. I even put one here at the end, even though it doesn't say to put one, but that was to make sure that I had the right number of stitches on the end like you're supposed to. So I know not everybody likes markers. I do like them for myself, and they really help me keep track, even for resolving the short rows, because you don't always see it as clearly as, you know, one might think. So, yeah, I find just leaving the markers in really helpful myself. Also, just to say, the most challenging thing there is remembering that little knit front and back. There's a little knit front and back at the beginning of each right side row, and it's just real easy to forget. I think I got it every time. There was one time I caught myself. I had to tink back. But I bet that's going to trip a lot of people up. And that obviously like affects slightly the shape and also the overall stitch count. So I don't know. If you haven't started yet, just be really conscientious about that knit front and back at the beginning of the right side rows. Okay, it probably doesn't look like much yet, but I just did the first eyelet row. There's just nothing more satisfying than when you get it right. I like turned everything off, no TV, I concentrated, I counted out loud, like if it said to do something 12 times, I was going 1, 2, as I went. But when that works out and like you have the right number of stitches and you're like resolving the short rows at the right place and everything works out and going back, all the yarn overs and knit two togethers work out, it is a pretty incredible feeling. I also want to show one other thing. Just that I'm really happy with how this worked out too. Like, I'm glad I used the gray here. It did make the most sense given that I had these color A stitches different. At the end, it said you should have 7 rows, and I was so confused because I kept getting 6, but then I realized that this is meant to be color A. It's all supposed to be the same. So I did have the right number of rows. But it also worked out at this end where the tip of this stops before the end of the row, but it works out that this color, my eyelet color, blends right in with that. So I like that. I think it's going to look good, and it's going to look like unified. Yeah, part of me wants to go purple next instead of green, but I want the green to connect to this, and it'll be like pretty close. So yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm going to go green next. Then I'll go gray again, possibly with the blue mohair like this. Okay, it's only 20 after 2, and I already finished my second one, my second swiggle. And then I've just done the row, the finicky row, with the counting. I keep laughing so much, like wondering what my neighbors must be thinking as they hear me going like 1, 2, 3. But like, it's just the only way I can make sure the stitch count is right and actually do it right. There was a moment in there that I thought I was off by 2 stitches. And I was really confused, and I kept going back and counting it and still being off. But then I went all the way back to the beginning of the row and counted it, and then it was actually right. So it's just a little bit tricky. So like, it's weird. This is a weird section because it's like, oh, I didn't want to say, but if I'm being honest, like, I'm already bored. It's just like, it's a lot of garter. It's just a lot of like knitting and knitting and knitting. Now look, like, I get it. Like, he can't please everybody. All the clues can't be the same. It is very different from the previous clue, I will say that. So like, the first clue was modular and finicky and had multiple sections and like really kept you attentive the whole time. Somebody was saying that they were hoping for like long regular shawl rows, and that person is sure happy now, because are we sure ever getting just like long shawl rows of just knitting, like just knit stitch like over and over and over again? I kind of wish that these squiggles, I kind of wish that the squiggles were in stockinette rather than garter, but I think it's easier for like closing the short rows. I mean, this is very similar to the short row color work in Woolly Wormwood's book. I think it's Woolly Wormwood, that I actually got last year when I ordered my MKAL yarn and then didn't open till like February or March. And I've looked through it, but I haven't had a chance to do anything from it yet. But it's basically this technique. It's like 2 color short row garter color work. So anyway, I like it. It's fun. Like, I like, what am I trying to say? So I did those rows, the garter rows as you're building the squiggles are frankly boring. But then that one row, that first row of the eyelet section, is incredibly intricate and requires a lot of attention. As I said, I'm like turning everything off and like counting out loud as I do each little mini step. But this is the second time it has worked out perfectly. So that is a really good feeling and makes me happy with how it's going overall. Because I know that there are 9 of them, I'm now slightly changing my color order into like 3 and 3. I'll show you. Hold on. I'm going to go like gray, green, gray. I almost wish I'd flipped that so there could have been more green. I like that they look like snake grass and like or blades of grass. So I would have liked to have more green, but oh well. So it's going to go gray, green, gray. So there'll be like another one of these on this side. Then I'm going to do the purple, and then I'm going to do gray again, but held with the blue mohair so that it's this color. And then I'll do the purple again on the other side of that. And then I'll do probably gray, green, gray again, but I might switch it up and do green, gray, green over here when it's like getting to the 9th. But yeah, so even though this is a lot of knitting, and I think it's like going to be like, I think it's going to be like deceptively easy because people are going to forget about that knit front and back, and it's going to screw things up for them. That one eyelet row, as I'm saying, is really hard. And it is like a lot of knitting. I mean, that said, like if I've done 2, when did I start? Like 9:30, 10 this morning. So like in 4 hours, Yeah, in like 4 and a bit hours, I've done 2 of them. And I'm not particularly fast. And so I bet there's people that are going to finish this clue like today or tomorrow. It seems both long and short. I can't tell yet which it is. So I'm going to stop there for now. I have to leave for Hamilton for the Mona Awad event. I'm not going to bring it with me. I'm just going to take this as a break and I'm going to read my book. But I think I'll probably do some when I get home later tonight. Because I usually, when I get home, no matter what time it is, I like to knit for a bit just to relax. Yeah, so talk to you later. Bye. Okay, so this is where I'm at. I kept going with the next squiggle. I never thought I would say the word squiggle so many times. So yeah, I'm enjoying it. Like, it's gonna look cool, I think. I'm really glad I got the green in quickly to be close to this and kind of tie this scallop in. I'm liking the gray, and like it does kind of echo the welts, and I really like that as I like transition. And this is working out with this color C as these things. It kind of it picks up on like the lattice here where it's like almost the same. And then, you know, there's enough of it over here that it ties into in like the thin part, and it almost looks like a continuation of this scallop here. So I'm really liking my color choice, and I'm really liking the design. This clue is going to take a lot of willpower. It is monotonous to do, but it's going to look really nice in the end, I think. Yeah, I really recommend leaving your markers in. It just shows you exactly where you need to close the short rows. And to me helps with like the counting and stuff. Oh, and the only other thing I was going to say is like I'm noticing my I cord getting a little bit tight, especially on this end. Like I guess whatever happens is like really, I don't know, it just feels like it's pulling more on this end. And yeah, having the I cord too tight has happened to me before. It can cause problems with blocking. So I'm just trying to be really loose with it for now. And it kind of works itself out. But if it keeps going, I'm going to do that technique where you put a yarn over between each stitch of the I cord, and that kind of gives it looseness. It's just sometimes it can go too loose. Like it's one of those things where it's like too tight or too loose. Both are bad. On this end, I still have a good amount of stretch. But again, I'm just at the beginning of the rows. I'm being very, very careful to keep it super loose and really sort of like pull the stitches through so that there's extra yarn. And then because you're always starting with that knit front and back, like I keep that really loose too. So I'm just trying to be as loose as I can at the ends because there is some sort of like tightening effect, and it's starting to pull it. It's more this end I'm worried about because this has almost no stretch. Like it's already at its sort of stretchiest. So yeah, I might start doing that yarn over before the. You just put a yarn over before each of these stitches before you. Well, I mean, I guess you're slipping on this side anyway. So you put the yarn over on the wrong side when you knit these 3 stitches. And then when you come back and you slip these, you just drop the yarn overs. And it just gives you extra yarn to keep it loose. Anyway, I'll try to show you next time I do it. Hey, so when I got home last night, I finished this one and did the eyelet row and did most of this one. I'm trying to do my mohair dare here, so I put in, this is, well, you can see here, the Surrey alpaca and the white mohair held together. I have a lot of tails coming off my end because I just like to keep all the yarns attached and just running up the side. Yeah, I did have some mistakes in this one. I was like in 2 different sections, I was 1 stitch off as I went across, and then when I came back, I had an extra stitch at the end. So that's a bit too bad, but oh well, it should be fine now. And I think that's the thing. It's like you get comfortable with something, you get used to it. Like I almost have it memorized. But then you get complacent and you start making mistakes because you're feeling comfortable too. So you're a bit less vigilant. So anyway, I'm about to do squiggle 5. So I'm basically halfway through the clue, and it only came out yesterday. So I don't know. I don't think I won't finish today. Well, we'll see. I have a little social engagement in the afternoon, but otherwise I'm just working on this, and yeah, we'll see how it goes, and I'll keep checking in. I just don't have that much to say. Like, it's just very simple in one way. Um, yeah, I don't know. Talk soon. This is just progress because I can't remember last time I videoed. It is now Friday. It's only Friday, about 6 p.m. And as you can see, I've done one, two, three, four, 5 squiggles of 9. So I am over halfway through the clue. I have introduced my mohair dare. So for this one, it's so close in color, but this is the Surrey held double with the whitish one that I was using in the welts down here, like this one. So it's the two of those together. It's like, but like I say, it looks very close, but you can tell it's mohair. And then I added the blue strand of mohair to this color. So I'm going to do this again on the other side. Then my mohair dare is over for this clue. There'll be another purple. And then I can decide with the final 3. Like, this green looks so nice, and it looks so much like snake grass. I was going to do, like, this exactly again, gray, green, gray. But I think I'm going to do green, gray, green on the far side. Unless, purple, purple. Yeah, because, like, purple, green, gray, green. Yeah, that's what it'll be. Purple, green, gray, green. And then this whole section will be symmetrical, at least in terms of color, because it certainly isn't in shape. It's so interesting how it's so thin on this end, because you really only get to the end of the row once per color. But on this end, you have 7 garter bump rows. So anyway, like, it looks really cool. I like how my colors are going, because you see, like, they sort of, like, at this end, it really all blends with this nice blue. It's so close. The red, like, I love how that looks. This, like, all speaks to each other. Like, the purple, the green, the green. This is, now that I've seen other people's online, and remember I had 2 brioche rows, like, short here for some reason. I see other people's do look a little more spread out and a little more symmetrical, but I do think it'll be okay. It might just be, this part might be a little bit bumpy or something, but I do rather think blocking will fix that. And then, yeah, like, this part is the most, like, struggly for me, but I think it'll be okay, because it's going to clearly look like sections, I think. So, yeah, that's where she is for now. Like, it is just knitting. There's just nothing to say about it. It's just knitting and knitting and knitting and knitting and knitting. Like, it is the most opposite to clue 1 that you can.
And then the rest of it stays the same. And now that I've done it enough times, like, I know where it's, like, knit 1 together. I know it, like, while closing the gap. I know it's knit 2 together while closing the gap. I know how many, like, make 1, knit 1s there are. So it's just, like, even that has gotten a bit
the
less.
rest of the night and tomorrow morning before I go to my parents for Thanksgiving. So I'm just going to get as far as I can. But I'm going to bring it with me to their place. And, yeah, I really, like, I'm more than halfway with not, like, only working on it a few hours yesterday and a few hours today. I'm already halfway, and I still have a few hours tonight. So anyway, I'll let you know how far I get, and check in again soon. Let me know how it's going for you down in the comments. I can't tell if I'm having, like, an abnormally easy time with it or what. So let me know how you're finding your clue too, if you're doing it. I'd love to hear. Oh, I meant to say, I also want to switch back to my longer cord, my longer needle. So I have to do it on one of these rows, on one of the eyelet rows, because they're the only ones that go all the way to the end. I guess I could do it on the first squiggle row. But anyway, I'm going to do it now, just because this one is getting kind of full. Like, it easily scrunches up, but I like to let it spread out like that so I can, like, see the waves. Anyway, I just think having it on a longer cord will be easier, and then I will make this my main needle, and this can be my spare needle, and they will both be more than long enough. And, yeah, it'll be interesting to see where clue 3 goes. So it's so funny, like, what I was saying about that eyelet row, it's always knit 2 together 6 times before the first time that you close a short row gap. So the only number that's really changing is the number of stitches between the knit front and back and when you start those knit two togethers. And it's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Last time when I did the purple squiggle, I was 2 stitches under in that section, I believe, or maybe only 1. But anyway, this time I'm 2 stitches over. It's as though I were to knit together, oh, it's here. I have 14 stitches when I should only have 12. So, I better make sure that I have the right amount in there, that I have 28 instead of 24, because the sections alternate between 28 and 24, so I may have placed the marker wrong. Okay, so everything else was right. It's just that here, yeah, it should have gone, this marker should be here, and that would be 28. So I need to, figure out if I'm going to drop those 4 stitches 1 row, because they should only have 6 garter rows up to there. Like, basically, this short row gap should be here. And so just to show on the back here, like, I did end up with this, you know, little loop from those 4 stitches I dropped. And I tried to tuck it under a little bit, or like catch it a bit with the mohair as I was going by, but I kind of didn't do it great. So, like, I might try to just tuck it up once I do the next purple squiggle. That probably is what I'll do, but I don't want to wreck the eyelets either. Like, so I might just end up like leaving it down like this. I mean, I'm considering I could just like cut it in the middle and just sew down, like sew those ends, like just weave them in through the bumps. Or I could try to sew it down or something. But anyway, it's not a big deal, and I'm still happy with that solution. Yeah, it's just a little minor thing to figure out. Okay. Hey, so it's just after midnight. So, like, it's been Friday. It's basically Friday at midnight. But therefore, now it's Saturday morning. You know what I mean? So anyway, I'm stopping. I have finished 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 squiggles and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 eyelet rows. So this is where I'm at the end of Friday. So I'm like 2/3 done the clue. So yeah, I don't know if I'll finish tomorrow because I won't have as much knitting time, but I don't know. I think I should definitely be finished by Monday, I would hope. So after that, I didn't really film much more because not a lot much more happened. I did go home for Thanksgiving, and I was able to do like a squiggle a night. Like, I didn't, you know, it wasn't really a lot of time while I was there. My parents are both in their mid-70s, and they go to bed around 9, usually, 9:30. So at that point, I would just be in my room, and I would just knit away with my headphones in, watching YouTube channels or other stuff. And I was able to finish all the squiggles quite easily. So I suppose I should show it to you. This is my completed clue 2. So yeah, I chose to kind of color block my squiggles, like to have these 3 in the middle. Actually, only the mohair is only in the eyelets and the center row, which is that same gray. But so it just allowed the purple and blue to be in the middle like that, with the gray and the green on either side. So I like how it turned out. I was great with my stitch counts, other than the obvious time that you saw. I have seen a lot of other people saying that their I-cord here is quite tight. I mean, it's still tight. Like, doing that yarn over thing helped. I'm happy with the length that it is, but it has almost no stretch. Like, it is stretched as far as it can, and because of those yarn overs, it's stretched big enough that, like, you know, the eyelet holes still show as holes, and like I feel like it's like doing what it's supposed to do, but it's quite tight there. And if I had kept going the way it was at the end, it would have been really bad. So I'm glad that I did that. I'm overall happy with like my color placement and like where things ended up. I don't like that we leave this final row unresolved, like with the short rows unresolved. You'll see I still have my markers in, as I mentioned. I mean, so yes, like, can you read your knitting? Can you visually see where it goes from one garter row to two garter rows and so on? Yes, absolutely. But it's just still easier for me. It's still a mental reminder and an obvious thing to like have a marker where those short rows change and where those closings need to happen. I just don't see why we couldn't have, even if we were just going back on the wrong row and closing them there, or just having like one more row to like resolve this. It just feels so unfinished in my mind to have this row with these unresolved short rows just sort of like hanging out for a while, but I can deal with it. I can let that go. I will say, like, there is a part of me that wishes this shawl was 3 colors instead of 4. I did see one person on YouTube who was only using 3 colors per section, and I really liked the way hers looked. It would be great if I could remember her name or handle. Obviously, I mean, it's like I've almost added in like a 5th color with like the blue through the mohair. So I'm not like, I don't know how I am. Like, I've enjoyed the process. I enjoyed clue 1 more than clue 2, I have to say. I've been surprised with both of them, how quickly I finished. And it's not about like speed or rushing, but I just know from other years, like, how much knitting is involved in some of the clues, and it just feels like less this year. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Like, this felt like a lot and a little in a weird way. Like, the rows do get longer and longer, and it's a lot of knitting. But it also went really quickly, and it's like kind of simple. So I know a lot of people found that to be a nice break. Sorry, there has been construction going on in my building the past few days. There's nothing I can do about it. They just stopped vacuuming, but now perhaps started drilling. So just sorry if you can hear the background noise there. So, I mean, yeah, this is clue 2 in its entirety. I'm happy with how the colors went. Like, the squiggles are cool enough. I get, like, you can't please everybody, right? So in the past, when there have been clues with a lot of purling, people complained about the purling. I have to say, at this point, what I wouldn't give for a purl. I'm just sort of, like, sick of garter. I am sick of just knitting. I want something else. So I'm hoping for clue 3 to be, like, really dynamic and really out there. You are instructed to put the stitches, they can be on scrap yarn. That usually means that we won't be using them in clue 3. This invites a lot of speculation about where we'll be picking up. I don't know if everybody's edge, like scallop edge, is as wavy as mine is here, but it would be hard to imagine picking up along that edge. So I feel like we will either be picking up along this long straight edge, or we will be doing something modular that attaches somewhere else. I can't imagine that there would be another clue with scallops at this point, but maybe, you know, anything is possible. So yeah, I'm just like, I'm confused to see where it goes. I'm excited to see where it goes, and I'm just excited for another clue. It feels like a long week in that way, in that I did most of this clue in the first 2 days. And then I just had a couple days with a little bit to finish. And now I'm having a couple days without working on it at all. I can't remember if I finished Sunday night or Monday morning. So I've just had like all the rest of Monday, all of Tuesday, and now today, all of Wednesday, just waiting for the new clue. I have been knitting on other projects, and that doesn't usually happen during MKAL season. So yeah, I'm a little perplexed, and it seems small to me. Now, I did see another YouTuber say, guys, it's not that small. It's pretty big and we're only halfway done. And sure, but like the rows are nowhere near. They're like half of what the end rows of Stephen West shawls usually are in, like the 400 plus stitch counts. And we're, I think, just over 200. Everyone's sort of noting the asymmetry, especially of this last clue. So it really feels like we need to fill things in here unless the shape is gonna be something totally different. So yeah, like this was like fine, but not like exciting, you know what I mean? And oh yeah, the other thing was like there's a question about this color C, which for me is the red, as much as I'm following the colors at all. And there's a sense that color C would get a solo at some point and get to have a solo. Some people seem to think that that solo was clue 2 and that these eyelet rows are the solo for color C. And other people I'm seeing are still thinking that that solo is yet to be coming and that perhaps clue 3 is going to involve a lot of color C and a lot of this solo. Someone quipped that like if it was supposed to be the soloist in clue 2, it was more like a backup singer, which I thought was funny. So yeah, I just have no idea. I have no idea where it's going color-wise. I have no idea where it's going shape-wise. And I just can't wait. I'm just really, really impatient to get going on clue 3. So anyway, thank you for spending this clue with me, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Let me know in the comments how your MKAL is going if you're doing it, and I will see you next week with my clue 3 video. Until then, take care. Thank you again so much for joining me, and happy knitting. Bye.